think we can save this with the magic of video editing.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Subspace podcast.
You love that intro,
I
don't
do
you?
love that intro too much. And I'm joined by a very different panel for once. Panel guests, I guess. To my left. To my left, cameraman. To my left. I was doing the introductions.
Go to them.
Right, we'll go to them then. We'll go to them. Go to them. Okay, I'm joined by Ed.
Hello.
Say hello, Ed. I'm joined by Ken. Say hello, Ken.
Yo.
They are members of the society who've volunteered their time to come and talk about a movie. And I have Hayden.
Hello.
Our producer, cameraman, and...
I'm the guy in the box. I've been this entire time. And
apart from now.
Now we've got Lee, who's up there.
Hi, Lee.
He's finally been let out of his box.
Well, for like half of them so far, we haven't really had a crew. So it's just been me up there, and that's why we've had them funny shots. Where
So it's just been like an
really
ad
tall.
hoc team of people who...
No, there's been no team.
No, it's been me, and we were joined by Lee for one of them.
And
well, no, two of them. Two of them. This is our third one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
Seriously?
here we are. The big one's here, guys. The movie that everyone's been waiting for. The greatest superhero event of all time. Show Superhero Tyson. It's not Show Superhero Tyson, is it?
No,
Just show...
it is the most ambitious crossover event in history.
Infinity War, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
It's Avengers Infinity War. It's finally here after years of waiting.
Yeah.
It's all here.
And
God, it has been years, hasn't it?
It's been 10.
10.
10 freaking years.
Just over the 10th
Yeah, but how many
year
years
anniversary.
was it since they announced it?
Well,
4.
yeah, they sort.
Yeah, 4 years.
Is it only been 4 years?
Since they've announced Infinity War.
Since they said this is when it's going to culminate, because they sort of started seeding it in the first Avengers, didn't they?
I mean, yeah, but we assumed it'd be Avengers 2, and then Avengers 2 turned up the Age of Ultron, and then it's after Age of Ultron they started announcing the next line of movies.
Because this was Avengers 4, because Avengers 2 was called Captain America Civil War.
Yeah, but it was in the...
Wait, hang on a second.
Avengers 3 was called Captain America Civil War.
I was about to say the same thing.
That's exactly what I meant.
So, we're going to talk about the film non-spoilery, though, if you haven't seen it yet.
No, I thought we were going full spoiler.
Well, we're going to do a non-spoiler, just in case people are watching it who haven't seen the movie.
Skip to this point in the video.
I'm not going to do that. I haven't got time or effort. And neither does he.
This point, it's going to be right here.
It's not. I'm telling you right now.
Nice
it's
try.
Not gonna be
Nice
there.
try,
Not
Kenny.
gonna
Just
be
nice
there
try.
At all.
Uh-oh. Do it.
So,
Do it.
it's starring all those other superheroes from all those other movies, directed by those people who made Civil War, the bad one. Yeah. So, what are everyone's thoughts on the movie?
I loved it. Like, I think that, well, it was brilliant. I loved it. Like, without a doubt, I absolutely enjoyed it. Like, 100%. Go on.
Yes, clearly. Well, despite the slightly soul-crushing ending, I thought it was very good.
You don't like it, do you?
I don't. I've got a lot of problems with it. It's the best superhero movie I've seen in the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that.
No.
What?
Thor Ragnarok came out in the last 2 years.
Well, what about Ant-Man?
Actually a good point.
Ant-Man was pretty
That's 3 years ago.
amazing. Oh, 3 years ago. Okay, my mistake.
And Homecoming was a decent introduction to Spider-Man.
Homecoming's better than Avengers. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Homecoming's better. I don't like Homecoming, but yeah, it's a better movie. Yeah. A lot of problems I have with it are nerdy, Kallum, you're thinking too much about it, or the fact that logic in the movie falls apart when you think about it for more than 2 seconds.
Here, what I think they should have done. I think they should have done this. They should have done this movie. I think they did it too early.
Too early?
I think they should have waited longer and done, because what they were starting to do, and they started doing it with Homecoming and like Thor Ragnarok, is they started crossing over the characters, and I think they should have done that more before doing this film. Like, I think this should have been a 15-year mark film as opposed to a 10-year mark film.
Because a lot of the characters kind of shoved together quite quickly.
Yeah,
But then again, in 5 years, it could be too late. Like in the sheer amount of movies they could have done in 5 years.
Like Iron Man should have already known who Doctor Strange was.
Yeah.
Like they should like the introduction Doctor Strange and Thor had was an amazing introduction in Thor Ragnarok. Like that is the way you do it. It was like 2.5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
All they dedicated to it, but it was perfect.
Guardians?
No, I think it was the post-credits cutscene in Doctor Strange.
Yes.
It's also in Thor Ragnarok.
It's the same thing they did with Ant-Man and Civil War, though.
Yeah.
Is they one of the post-credit scenes was an actual scene from the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's getting rave reviews, people loving it. I've realised that not talking about, like, not just going into spoilers straight away is really difficult to talk about this movie.
It is
Yeah, it is
really
really
difficult.
difficult.
So you've heard our thoughts on it.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it,
These two love it. He hates it, and I am really down the middle. Like there's, I enjoyed the film, but at the same time, I wouldn't say it was the greatest film. And
Well, I think one of the biggest problems that the film suffers from is the fact that there's so many people, there's different groups like spanned across the Earth and the galaxy in general. So there's a lot of people you have to have a focus on.
I hear that
and
a
one
lot.
of them wasn't Claire Temple.
Thank God. Thank the gods.
She should have been in that movie.
She'd have ruined it even more.
No, she should have had a part where she's just like staring out the window going, "Oh, come on."
Can we have a shot of her fade away, please?
Claire Temple is amazing. She is the best thing about the Netflix universe.
He's doing this to trigger me.
Clearly,
knows.
Kallum does not think the
He
same.
knows how
I
much
love Claire Temple.
she ruins Luke Cage. The moment she shows up in Luke Cage, the whole show goes.
Yeah, but I'm just
Yeah,
waiting
but
for...
I mean,
I'm just
Claire,
waiting.
Claire Temple is amazing. Claire Temple is the Defenders. She's like the Phil Coulson of the Defenders.
Do you know which one she's not in? Jessica Jones. And you know which one's the best like Netflix show?
Jessica Jones?
Jessica Jones. There is like, and who? Guess which one is she the main
She's in
character
Jessica
of?
Jones?
Oh, she's barely in it.
Or does she
Yeah.
turn up in Punisher?
No.
No. But she's in nearly all of Iron Fist, and Iron Fist sucks. So maybe there's a connection.
It doesn't suck as much as people think it does. It really
See,
doesn't.
I just...
Sorry,
Right about now.
this is turning into just the MCU
Yeah, it is.
podcast.
The
Turning
MCU
to the
rant.
MCU podcast.
All right, Infinity War.
Well, for Kallum, it will be a
all of
rant.
Spoilers happening now.
Everyone dies!
Thank you, Kenny.
Except they don't.
They don't. That's not what happens.
Yeah, true.
No.
That's what I tell people. I just say everyone
So
dies.
do we
Yeah,
go
that
through the
kinda
plot of the
makes
movie, or do we just talk about how we feel?
The plot of the movie,
all
it's a
over the
mess.
place.
It's a mess.
It is,
It's a mess of a
exactly
plot.
for
Yes,
the
it
reason
is
I
complicated.
said, because there's so much happening.
It goes all
in
over the place, basically.
So many different characters.
But people are acting like, oh, there's lots of characters in it. That excuses the terrible plot and the messy plot. Lots of films have lots of characters in. That's how films work.
I'm not
There
saying
are
that
other
as an
films with lots of
excuse.
characters.
I'm saying that is a problem that needed... Well,
I
that's
think
probably one of the reasons why...
This storyline should have started in a Guardians of the Galaxy film.
So Thanos is trying to get all 6 Infinity Stones, and by the beginning of this movie, he has 1. By the end of the movie, he has all of them.
No, he has 2 at the beginning.
He has 1.
No, he has what?
He
Yeah,
does
the
have
power
one.
stone.
Reality.
He has
No,
No,
he
no,
has
no,
reality
no,
halfway
no.
through.
No,
He has the Power Stone because they didn't want to show the Nova Corps. They just go, yeah, they got destroyed, and they got
yeah,
destroyed.
they got
on camera.
destroyed, which is going to line up
They got annihilated.
a...
They're not making another movie
Why not?
because no one cares about the character. He's not marketable. He's just a rip-off Green Lantern without any of the cool powers. They've tried, much like a lot of the other characters they've tested on animated shows, because that's what animated shows are for Disney, is testing audiences on.
That's
these
what they did with Iron
characters.
Man, wasn't it? No.
Um,
They tested Iron Man in a
Yeah.
cartoon first before.
yeah, a lot of the Disney.
I know
animation
Disney didn't
stuff-
have them then, but
Yeah, a lot of the Disney animation stuff is like the Spider-Man shows and the Avengers shows. They all introduce these characters to kind of see how kids gauged them. when Luke Cage and Iron Fist appeared in the Avengers Assemble TV show, the kids didn't give two damns. So they went, these aren't characters that kids are going to care about. So we're going to put them on Netflix. This is just what I kind of take from... No one's ever confirmed this, so it's kind of how you feel it out.
This has just kind of devolved into another discussion about the
So,
MCU.
Again, it's a good point though, because
Yeah.
seeing the Nova Corps destroyed without any so that planet has been the focus point of 2 Guardians movie and a place that has been saved twice by the Guardians, and then it's just gone. And that's something that this movie does a lot. Is it screws over other movies' ideas of plots and arcs for the sake of its own movie.
Hang on
There's
a
not a
sec.
lot with the Guardians. The Guardians are completely trashed by this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Except for...
Gotta ask. Xandar only shows up for 2 seconds in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
But it's significant that it's there again. It is mentioned multiple times. Xandar is it's a staple of the Guardians universe.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So, because there's so many characters and they want to tell this particular story, if a movie wasn't ready for that story, they just ignore it and just go, here's how things are now.
Which is why I think it should have been pushed.
Yeah.
And they should have started the Thanos Rising. You can call that an arc.
Well, that was...
You can call it, and then it happens during, you have the complete Infinity setup in a Guardians of the Galaxy film. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, where it gets destroyed and he gets the Power Stone and they go, we are screwed.
Yep.
And they're like, we need some serious help on this.
Right,
Boom.
well, see, when it was coming up to Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and there was this whole thing of, oh, you're not fully human, your other half is something ancient and eternal. And I was thinking, could they be doing this? Could they? No,
of course
they're not. They're not leading up to Thanos being Peter Quill's father.
Why did you think that?
I had never crossed my mind when I was watching that film.
Well, no, I thought it would have been a much better idea.
I mean, Ego being his father is pretty off comics as Thanos being his father. His dad is a... What is he? I don't know. On my comic
He
knowledge,
was the emperor of the Spartax Empire in the comics.
Yeah.
Just son of Sparta. Mm-hmm. No, you see, thing is, right, in the comics, there was that whole storyline where Thanos was looking for his son, who was an Inhuman on...
Well, wasn't he an Inhuman?
Yeah, he was half Inhuman.
He was the Inhumans that... He was, because half the Inhumans turned out looking like humans, but with, superpowers, and the other half turned out all purple and, mutated, and got, expelled to Titan.
Is that what Thanos' backstory was?
I think so.
No, Thanos' backstory was that he built this. There was this girl that he'd always fancied, quite literally, because it was in a 5-comic miniseries called Thanos Rising, where he murders everyone on his home planet, and then he gets that obsession with death.
Yeah, spoilers for this movie. Oh, I've always got to spoilers, but Thanos' backstory's terrible.
Yeah.
So instead of what you were saying is setting up Thanos over Pokemon movies, they went, Thanos. And then every comic book fan was like, oh, yeah. And then every non-comic book fan was like...
It's that guy. He keeps showing up in post-credit scenes.
But he only shows up in one.
No,
That's my
he
point.
shows up in
No,
two.
he shows up in all in one.
2.
He shows
There's the
up in
one
two.
where
That's the one where
first
he's
gets
like,
in.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then there's
remember
one
when
where
he
he
gets
grabs
the
the glove.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Fine,
Well,
I'll do it
and
myself.
Yeah.
Well, the problem I have is, because Thanos has been introduced in this movie, basically to non-comic book audiences, and they decided that the backstory was too simple, they decided to give him this weird, I want to wipe out half the universe because my planet ran out of resources, despite the fact the Infinity Gauntlet literally has the power to create infinite resources.
Yeah, they could have done... He could have... Yeah. He was really generic in the end.
But then they tried to make you feel bad for him.
It was unwatchable.
It wasn't unwatchable.
It wasn't
The scene-
unwatchable.
It was
not
definitely not
unwatchable.
unwatchable.
The scene where he kills Gamora and it slow violin music as it's got one tear going down his eye almost made me leave the cinema. I was.
It was a bit over the top.
It was terrible.
A little bit, although I will say, the moment I saw, spoiler again, well, whatever.
They're all spoilers. We don't need to say spoilers.
Okay,
Spoiler
whatever,
alert.
yeah, right. You see that cloaked figure, it's like, who's this?
I was very excited.
And it's like,
Yeah.
I
Red
really
Skull.
enjoyed that bit.
Hugo
I
Weaving
really
came
enjoyed the
back?
fact that it was Red Skull.
You didn't?
It's not Hugo Weaving.
Really?
Really?
Not Hugo
It's not.
Weaving.
They've just used the same CGI face effect.
Oh, that's annoying. I'm really
It's
hoping.
just a German man.
Yeah, because he did say he was never going to come back.
Oh, that's fair
But-
enough.
Fair, Hugo. I agree, Hugo. You should never come back.
But I liked the
He's
fact
not
that it was
crying
Red Skull.
for himself.
As a comic book fan, I was really excited to see a character I'd never seen before when these movies show up. And I got Giant Dwarf Man.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Tyrion Lannister is a dwarf.
Yeah.
But he's not a dwarf because he's a
He's not.
He's a
he's
dwarf
like
giant.
10
He's a
feet
big
friggin'
dwarf.
tall.
Dwarf.
He's a
But
big
they're giant.
dwarf.
Yeah.
I get the joke, but seriously, never before has a casting as a joke made me so out of a movie. That I was like,
He just seemed really angry all of the time.
That's.
That's because everybody he loved was dead.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it just went over the top.
And he was like, hey, Thor, you know how your Asgard guys, they were meant to protect us. You dick.
Yeah,
To be fair,
yeah,
I think
but
most.
that was his mode throughout the entire thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
because that's what he is in the movie.
Exactly. Also, I think most of us would be like that if our entire family got wiped out.
I wouldn't, but you know.
That's because you don't have
You'd
a
be
heart.
happy, though. You'd throw a party.
Thanos has wiped out half the universe. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Then you just start slowly disappearing.
I wouldn't though, because I've got a plan.
You've got a plan.
I've always got a plan. Yeah. So then, like, what else in this movie? Yeah, it opens. We haven't even talked about how it opens with Loki getting murdered.
Again.
Yeah, that.
Murdered.
No, he's dead.
No, I reckon he's probably
I'm
dead
pretty
now.
sure he's very dead.
He's very dead. He's super dead.
They can't pull that shit twice.
Because here's
Even
the
they
thing.
know that.
Because 4, 1, and 2.
Pretty
sucked.
sure third time.
Yes.
Is it the third time?
Yeah,
He
fell
falls
off the
off
falls off the
Bifrost.
No,
Bifrost
yeah,
in
but
Thor
you didn't
1.
see a body.
Fair.
You did
That's
not see a body.
Fair.
But, so, because the Marvel Cinematic Universe hate Asgard, hate Asgardians, hate anything to do with magic, we decided, what should we do? We should really kill off the Asgardians. But we did that in Ragnarok. Like, no, you didn't do a good enough job. We need them all dead. Alright, sorry. We'll try better next time.
They hate magic, and yet they've got Doctor Strange.
Which is the least magical movie I've seen from Marvel.
Oh.
All their magic was simplified and wasn't interesting. That's my problem with the Doctor Strange movie, is that his magic isn't interesting in any way. I was glad to see he did something different than Wump 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 and the discs in this movie. He used a few different things, and and it wasn't just Inception to Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, I was about to say that the Doctor Strange movie is definitely a lot more like Inception.
It's not a Doctor Strange movie. You want to watch a good Doctor Strange movie? You watch the animated movie that came out like 5 years before. It's much better.
Right.
But back to actual movie.
You keep doing that.
Yeah,
Well,
we
I think that's a symptom of this film, is that you
There's
can't
so
just
much-
talk about Infinity War. You
There's
have
all
to
the
talk
stuff that
about
leads
everyone else's
into it.
films and stuff.
Yeah.
And I saw the internet have a go at reviewers who are saying, no one is introduced. You have to watch 50 other movies in order to understand the movie.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then people are like, oh, that's really dumb. Of course you have to. No. There's film
It's a
reviewers
fair
that completely
criticism.
have
That is a
fair
very
criticism.
genuine criticism. On the same note, this is a film that can only come about with other characters' introductions.
Yes.
Which is why I think they should have left it. I'm going to
Yeah.
keep hammering that point home again and again.
Again, I was trying to get to that point earlier with the Infinity Gauntlet. He gets all 6 in the movie when he should have been building them up slowly over 15 years.
Actually, that could have
No.
Because if you introduce him in the other movies, you wouldn't have to have Thanos' ridiculous backstory explained in this film, and you wouldn't have to have the same scene where he goes, "Give me the stone, or I'll kill this person," and then they give him the stone and he kills them anyway, or just doesn't. Like, that's this entire movie. This entire movie is Thanos going, You got a stone. I want the stone. I'll kill this person if you don't give me the stone. Thank you for the stone. I'm going to go and do the same thing to someone else. Goodbye.
Well, that's the thing. I was talking to someone else about this, and we kind of agreed that at the end of the first Infinity War, it should have been he comes out with like 3 of them, and then gets the other 3 in the next film.
I mean, like, Thanos wins in this movie, right? So he wipes out half the universe. But
someone else is going to get the Infinity Gauntlet in the next film and undo all of that.
But
and
he
it's going to
wipes out the half of the universe, which is the new half.
Yeah,
that's
that
actually...
made no sense.
What a
Why would you
great
do that?
source of confidence that you kill off all your new actors, the ones who've got movies out.
Yeah, the ones who they've announced to have movies.
Not
that
only
made no sense.
have you spoilt the next movie so that no one's death matters in this movie apart from maybe Loki and Gamora. And if Gamora's dead, I'm calling Woman in the Fridge. I'm calling Woman in the Fridge. I'll get to that later. Yeah. So apart from that, none of their deaths matter. What they did was they did the Star Wars Episode 8 of what's the internet thinks is going to happen. They think Tony Stark's going to die. Keep him alive. Who else do they think is going to die? It's Tony Stark. Keep him alive. Who do they definitely think is going to stay alive? Well, Spider-Man and Black Panther. Kill them then. Because we want to surprise the internet. But what you've done isn't you've surprised the internet. You've just spoiled the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some of the people they killed, I feel, as emotional as the Peter Parker death was.
Yeah, it was rather emotional.
Yeah. Oh, Kallum laughed.
I feel like they should have done it with someone else.
Well, I didn't see it in the fit. I didn't see it in the studio, but I'm pretty sure Kallum laughed at it.
I don't want to go. Sorry.
It's like you laughing at that God's death in Black Panther.
That's pretty funny.
Ugh.
We were watching 2001: A Space Odyssey the other day. Massive detour here. It's a really serious, dark movie.
More of a detour than we've already been.
There's a scene where they go to kill Hal goes to kill an astronaut, and they're just going to punch him into space. And then Hal punches him into space, and we all burst out laughing because it was the most ridiculous thing we'd seen in this movie. It's super serious. I laugh at deaths all the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of part of my terrible nature. Anyway,
Terrible.
yeah, the deaths are really interesting and mishandled, I feel. Especially when, like, Gamora dies. Next scene,
Gamora.
Jokey walking
Gamora.
Gamora.
You're saying Gamora. It's
Gamora.
Gamora.
He's doing it deliberately.
Of course
He's doing it very deliberately.
Of course I'm doing it deliberately. I care more about that character than the writers obviously did. Can we get into my rant about how Gamora is used as a woman in the fridge?
Yes,
Go ahead.
you started talking about it.
Okay.
Now explain.
So if you don't know what a woman in the fridge is, there's a very famous comic storyline in the comics in DC where Kyle Rayner gets home, opens the fridge, and finds his dead wife cut up in the fridge because the evil supervillain Dr. Light has killed and raped and killed his wife.
God. Oh.
It was absolutely one of the worst storylines in comics history. It is known for just using women as plot points and rather giving them characters, just use them as things to kill to make other characters feel stuff. During the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, Gamora has been really mishandled, I feel. It wasn't as noticeable in the other Guardians movie because you felt it was building to some kind of arc in the third movie where Quill and her relationship took 3 movies to come into fruition. Unfortunately, they decided, no, she needs to be in a relationship with Peter Quill in this movie. So A, she could be used to emotionally manipulate both Peter Quill and Thanos. Her character arc comes out of nowhere. It's like, oh, by the way, I know where the Soul Stone is.
That was
just
obvious
ridiculous.
from the get-go. It was like, I know where the Soul Stone is. Well, you definitely know.
You're dead. You're definitely dead.
It was really badly handled, and not only that, they decided to kill her off and use her as this emotional plot point rather than actually giving her any sort of arc. And if that's her gone, they've really woman in the fridge. She's been really mishandled because in the comic she's kind of this really confident and positive and she's really open with her sexuality and her state in the Guardians. In the Guardians movie, she's shy, insecure, which is more interesting for Hollywood, but it's also every Hollywood female character. And it's like they've done a massive disservice to her And maybe if they hadn't bugged this movie up, maybe Guardians 3, we could have seen her come into that fruition. Unfortunately, the Russo brothers are apparently doing whatever they want with the characters. So, thank you, Russo brothers, for ruining the best Marvel movies.
Yeah, true. Maybe they took inspiration from George R.R. Martin.
No, because he permanently kills most of his characters, almost all his characters.
Yeah, in Game of Thrones, he has stated that he never kills a character without a reason.
Oh, that's fair.
A character makes a mistake, and they die.
This movie, it's all about... every character who dies in this movie is, to a lesser extent, just use a plot device to make the audience go...
Yeah, they were all done for shock. Almost all of them were done for shock value.
Yeah, none of it matters. It's really like people are like, oh, the stakes are better than any Marvel movie. No, that actually
I think probably
works.
the best death, Heimdall's death, was good.
I like Asgardian characters, so I hate the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No,
they
but
waste all
in this situation,
Yeah.
like Heimdall should have that made sense.
Yeah.
Loki dying didn't quite make sense to me.
And the Warriors 3 dying at the beginning of Thor Ragnarok. Made sense. I'm still angry. I'm coming for you, Keith. I'm coming for you, director of Thor Ragnarok. I'm coming for you.
I'm coming for you, brother!
You just saying that
He
because you
did
can't
make the
pronounce his
best
name.
Thor film.
He did make the best comedy movie of the last 10 years. It's called What We Do in the Shadows. Unfortunately, he also made a Marvel movie. I'm gonna. This is the moment of silence for the rest of his indie career and good movies.
He's gone back to doing indie now.
Thank God.
He went straight back to doing indie after that film.
Ragnarok sucks balls.
No, it doesn't. Ragnarok is amazing.
It's really funny, but if I want to watch a funny movie made by that director, I watch What We Do in the Shadows. I don't watch Thor.
I think it's what Marvel needed. Marvel needed a film like that.
Yeah.
At least, it was a better Guardians of the Galaxy rip-off than DC's Guardians of the Galaxy rip-off, which was Suicide Squad.
Is that what they were trying to do with that film?
Yeah.
Pretty much. No, look at it,
Look
right?
at the music editing.
It was
Yeah,
a team. It was a team of misfits who were.
I saw that they were trying
Doing
to be
something
like
to save the
punchy
world.
and cool, but it never sort of struck me as they were trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I guess they missed the mark by so much that I didn't even catch it.
Yeah.
Right, the general look of Suicide Squad, the soundtrack, the overall theme of these group of misfits coming together to save the world, it was Guardians all over.
It's really interesting because DC are trying to make their own Deadpool movie. How are they making their own Deadpool movie?
Deathstroke?
No.
No, they could never do it with that.
Teen Titans Go to the movies.
Oh, for
Is a-
God's
They're not making Teen
sake!
Titans Go a movie.
Yeah, they are.
Losing the will to live.
The trailer comes out and they reference Deadpool in the trailer. Like they meet Deathstroke and they go, Deadpool? No, I'm not Deadpool. He should be saying he's not me. And the whole movie is like a commentary.
Oh.
I'm really excited to watch it. It looks terrible.
See,
but I quite like Teen Titans Go in a weird.
I can just
terrible
You're
way.
imagine-
possibly the only person who does.
I can just imagine the production meeting for that where they go, right, we've got Teen Titans Go, which is every fan with a brain hates,
Yeah.
and we've got the original series, which everyone loved. What are we going to do? Let's do a movie for the one that everyone hates.
But it's got this like sense of humour that it knows what
It is. That is the thing about Titans Go, which is why I don't hate it.
Yeah, I love it.
Because I mean, they did an episode where they watched the original
The
Teen
original
Titans,
series, and they're like,
Yeah.
holy shit, this
and they
was
were
good.
like, "We were good."
There's, like,
I did giggle at that, which is the only part of that I giggled.
all of their
Yeah.
episodes are all messing around with meta commentary on superheroes. There's some really great meta episodes, and I love them. There's some really
Yes,
funny
but
episodes.
for me, the fact that most of it is total garbage is the reason why I hate it. Which is the reason why I won't watch it.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it bits. Don't at me, or please at me. Please, I need
Everyone at him.
Don't
At me.
at him.
At me that I like to
Don't.
Go. So, can you talk about positives of the movie before I tear the movie apart even more?
The action was amazing.
Yes, it was.
Action was absolutely amazing. Really well done. Absolutely.
Especially the Titan, the fight scene on Titan. I thought that was a really
The
cool
fight,
fight
oh
scene.
yeah, well they. See, now that just reminds me of a negative.
Oh, God.
Well, they were just constantly trying to stop him from closing his hand.
I mean,
Oh.
how else would you fight a guy who every time he closes his wrist, you get fucked?
That's actually a good point.
Yeah, but it's the fact that he has to close his hand in order to do anything. Just seems a little bit silly, but at the same
I
time,
thought-
it's the only way you're going to.
I thought it looked cool.
But yeah.
The Doctor Strange fight scene at the beginning was quite cool.
Oh, the fight scene between
In
with
New York.
Ebony Moore. have that crazy telekinesis power.
What are people's opinions on the appearance of the Black Order?
The fact that there's only 4 of them in the film, and there's 5 of them in the comics, that irks me.
Well, let's ignore the comics because these Marvel movies aren't comic book movies.
True.
I mean,
they look pretty close to the comics.
My problem is they look like PS4 characters.
What?
They just look like characters from a PS4 game. I'm just watching it going, oh, the green screen's gone. Ah, there it's gone. After Black Panther, they've been really struggling making their CGI look good. And I'm not sure if it's because Black Panther CGI is so bad that it makes me hate the rest of them. But the CGI on some of the characters in this movie, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's Bruce Banner turning into the Hulk.
well, they are going a bit George Lucas with their CGI. Like, Mantis's antenna didn't need to be CGI.
Nope.
110%
Wait, those things were CGI, really?
Exactly. That's where so much of the budget will have gone, because they looked so good.
But then you did have the big battle scenes, and obviously you've got Thor coming in.
Yes, Thor's entrance was epic.
It was really epic.
It was really great until everyone in the movie was like, Vision needs help! Vision needs help! Has anyone told Thor? Vision needs help! Somebody help Vision!
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
as much as I thought Thor appearing was absolutely amazing,
He didn't turn the tide of the battle, though.
Didn't do anything.
Which was what
No.
like you turn up and it's doing the music like
That's-
we're all saved, Thor's here, and then it
That's-
just continues again for another 5 minutes.
You know what you know what the entire scene reminded me of?
What?
The big fight from the end of Phantom Menace.
Oh,
And to me, Thor was just Jar Jar.
what?
He just turns up and he accidentally helps destroy half the things, but doesn't actually do anything useful.
see,
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
no, I wouldn't go that
I
far
would
either.
because I'm a monster.
I honestly thought you were talking about the Jedi.
Okay. The biggest thing that
duel there.
irked me is the fact that in Thor Ragnarok, they have this whole thing where they go, Thor, your power is not the hammer.
Yeah, you don't
the
need your
power is
hammer
inside
anymore, and
you.
he's
You don't need
this
the
film is
hammer
just for
anymore.
him going, I need a hammer.
And also the fact
I need
that
a hammer.
Thor, God of Hammers.
Thor looked so cool with the eye patch. Like,
Yeah.
really cool with the eye patch, and it mirrors his father having the eye patch.
With all due
but
respect, he looked freaking awesome without the
then
eye
they
patch,
go,
with the eye
oh,
patch.
by the way, we've got this glass eye that you can put in your head so you can look normal again.
Ugh.
I can answer both those things, okay? Let me take you back to the boardroom meeting for Avengers Infinity War. All right, gentlemen, we're making a Marvel movie again. We're going to put everyone in it. Put them all in it. Oh, could somebody give me the people behind Thor? What? We need to tell them off. They made Thor unmarketable. Why did they make him unmarketable? Well, he no longer has a toy, and actors need to see their face all the time. But he's only wearing an eye patch. But actors need to be seeing their face all the time, or we can't sell it. We can't sell it. We have to sell it.
Thor looks more like a space pirate, damn it!
Yeah.
I'm J. Jonah Jameson!
Yeah. J. Jonah Jameson runs every film company. If you watch any of the other podcasts, you know that J. Jonah Jameson
Yeah, but
runs
isn't-
every movie studio.
Yeah, but in the comics, he's mayor of New York now.
But what I'm saying is, because Thor isn't marketable, according to the market,
According to the marketing team,
Yeah,
down
marketing team
the
and-
corridor.
and the test audiences,
Waste.
you can't have Chris Hemsworth covered up with an eye patch. Even if it's just an eye patch, Chris Hemsworth's too attractive, and not having a toy to sell. You need toys to sell.
Chris Hemsworth is a very pretty
Just
individual.
so it's clear, guys. We all
Very
know these
pretty.
movies are just glorified toy adverts, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Probably
Just
about
so
as
you
much
know
as Transformers.
That we're having an
Yeah,
argument
that's
about
true.
a movie
Transformers, one
made
big
to make toy adverts.
advertisement.
Yeah.
How I need that.
These are just money-making schemes. They're not actually movies that anyone cares about.
What?
So,
No way.
Sorry, I missed that.
They're in
What?
this to make money?
yeah,
Do you know what? I'm out.
so am I. I've been out for years. I just keep on going to see them because it doesn't matter if I don't go and watch them. It's not going to make a difference to like. Actually, it doesn't break the record because Kallum didn't go and see it.
At least we're not the DC fans. They must have been out a long time ago.
That's actually a good point.
Any-
Man of Steel! We're out.
Any other positives about the movie? The comedy was good in places.
The comedy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think
The-
this film did a good job of promoting some of the sort of B characters.
Yeah.
The kind of back and forth between Stark and Peter Quill was quite funny.
And completely
When
expected.
he just goes, okay, right, your plan's great, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go with my plan, and maybe then it's going to be great.
I'd say the comedy was good in places. There were some jokes that were absolutely atrocious, much like the script was good in places, but absolutely atrocious in others.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
But tone. This movie has a really hard job.
It's not
Keeping
sure
the
what
tone.
it's not sure
Yeah.
what it's trying to tell.
It doesn't know what tone it wants. It has no idea what tone it wants.
Also, the one thing that quite bugged me about Spider-Man is the fact that at the end of Homecoming, he was meant to have come into his own as a superhero, but when he's gone to that big ring-shaped ship, he's trying to board it, but at the same time, he's being talked down to by Tony.
No,
That's completely understandable.
that was really in character.
Excuse
What?
me, Ken, you may have helped me stop that thief over there, but that's Thanos. I'm sorry, Ken. I'm going to have to go and deal with Thanos myself. You stay here, because that's Thanos.
It made sense. Like
Yeah.
I was watching that and I was like, he probably had one of the best character introductions into the film because it made sense. He was like on a school trip and he was like, shit's going down. I better go and help.
Dude,
I better go and
cover
be
for me.
a hero.
Everyone, we're all gonna die. That was brilliant. That was
That
probably
was good.
a really great part of that. The dude who plays Ned is like, he's got to be in more films.
Unfortunately, I don't like Ned as a character because they basically Tom Holland's Spider-Man movie is a Miles Morales movie, but just starring Peter Parker. So they basically whitewashed.
but you know they couldn't-
whitewashed the Miles Morales movie. That's exactly what they did.
Yes, but you can't have the first Spider-Man movie in the MCU, the official MCU, and not have Peter Parker.
I disagree.
No.
How?
They do it with Ant-Man. Ant-Man.
Wait, well, what?
Ant-Man is a
Yes,
movie.
but
where-
you had Hank Pym, and it was confirmed that Hank
Yeah,
Pym
they did.
operated
He
as
was-
Ant-Man
he wasn't there
previously.
first.
What other movie did Hank Pym appear in?
He didn't appear, but the
Okay.
beginning of the film is like they look at the files
Yeah.
of the old
What
films.
I'd say is you do the same with Spider-Man.
No.
What?
But it's harder to do it with
It's
Spider.
not.
You can't.
Yes,
you can't
but
walk
who's,
in and
who's
already
more
have like an adult
well-known
grown-up
as
Peter Parker.
Spider-Man, Miles Morales
I
or
don't think
Peter
you can.
Parker? Peter Parker's much more iconic than Miles
No,
Morales.
you make Peter Parker the 80s Spider-Man.
Have maybe 3 Spider-Man films, and then if you make
I
any
don't
more,
think it needs
then
that
you can
many.
introduce Miles Morales.
I reckon. Yeah, I hope they introduce him in the third
I mean, Sony are making the Miles Morales movie.
Are
That's
they?
Spider-Verse.
Are they?
That animated.
Yeah, it's animated. Spider-Verse. It's starring.
They're doing an animated Spider-Man movie.
And
Okay,
and
animated, then that
will
sounds
be the
good.
Miles Morales
Then-
movie. But you can't have because they didn't want to make live action, obviously. So
Yeah.
they decided, well, we'll make it animated.
Well,
instead.
then again, they're probably doing what you
We'll
said
have a
earlier. They'll
Venom
test
movie.
it.
We'll have a Venom movie starring everyone's favorite man in the world, Tom Hardy.
Hardy.
But we can't actually make any interesting, diverse movies. I mean, it's the same thing with Wonder Woman, right? Wonder Woman's like this major female like superhero movie, and it's great that that's a thing that's happened. But are we really judging the progression of Hollywood based on superhero movies? People are like going, Black Panther is the greatest
Yeah,
cultural
that's a
event in the
good
universe.
point.
Did no one watch what won the Oscar last year? Moonlight's incredible. That film is a brilliant film. It's like no one's seen it because superhero movies are the most important movies in Hollywood. I know
That
I'm
is
talking
true.
about this
Yeah.
as someone who
Yeah,
runs
but
the
that
Sci-Fi
was because
Society,
of Iron Man.
They are probably the most
Yeah,
important thing in
right.
Hollywood at the minute.
but this shouldn't be.
But they are. What are you going to do about it?
I'm going to burn down Hollywood. You heard
Well,
Hollywood.
there's a
It'll
rosy-
make a great
I'm coming
video.
for you.
It will
Well,
make a
there's a
great
rosy
video.
future for
Can we
us
just
all.
arrest Kallum now? Like, do we have handcuffs?
Oh, I wish we did.
What else can we talk about in this movie? Where the hell does it go?
That's actually a good point.
Well,
I
Thanos-
don't want to shit on this film. I really don't.
But
Because I had fun, and that I want that known. I had fun watching the film. I
Agreed.
came out because I sat down, and I know you don't watch films like this. I watch
Yeah,
films where I
you
sit and
really
go,
don't.
entertain me, and I'll just sit back, watch, be entertained,
Yeah.
and then I'll get up and go, that film had some problems in it. But I
Yeah,
don't.
I
I think about them after the fact. Like you can sit through that. You can sit through the film and just enjoy it
Yeah.
and go, no. Look at him. He's looking at
can
Thor like he wants to
But then again,
have
that's
him.
the thing. You can
What's
have...
his name? Drax.
Yeah.
Drax.
Oh my
Drax looking
God.
at Thor.
Good lord.
This is a man.
This
You're a
surely
dude.
man.
This is a man.
What are you talking about? I'm not mocking
He's
you.
like a space pirate.
Mocking me. I am not mocking
an
you. This is
angel
just my
gave birth.
voice.
You just made your voice deeper.
Yeah,
Peter Quill is a very
what you're saying there
insecure
is
little man.
people
yeah,
are like,
definitely.
oh,
Very
you've got to turn your
insecure.
brain off. I enjoy films via my brain.
Yeah, I understand that isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
But it's just how I sit down and I watch a film and then I'll go,
I'm not
right,
gonna
now
lie.
let's think about the film.
I was enjoying the movie until Doctor Strange said the lines, if it comes down to you, that boy, and the stone, I'm keeping the stone. And at that point in the movie, I basically seen the entire movie.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the thing. It was obvious that he was going to go, no, take the stone.
Well, I want to know why he waited till Titan to reveal the fact that he could check out every possibility. Like, he could have done it on the ship on the way. He could have...
Yeah.
Maybe he
You
didn't
could have done
think to.
anything. You could have, Doctor Stranged your way out of the situation. You could have not destroyed the Eye of Agamotto. And, my favourite line is where is he? Doctor Strange, do you know what the Eye of Agamotto does in the comics?
Actually,
People. It's great, because in Thor Ragnarok, he's like, I need to find my father. Here you go, there he is. But in this movie, it's like, Doctor Strange can't find someone, and you're like, no, yes he can. That's the one thing he can do. Don't know.
well, clearly the Eye couldn't do it in the MCU because it had an Infinity Stone in it.
Yeah.
Time stone.
If I was
Which
writing
manipulates
Doctor
time.
Strange 2, I'd
Yep.
have Damien Hellfire go, what are you talking about? That's not the Eye of Agamotto. I've got the Eye of Agamotto right here. And I just throw it to him and go, well, there we go. I fixed that plot hole. I've got a pitch for the second Doctor Strange movie. It's great.
When do you make your pitch?
I think I'm only going to make a podcast one day, which is Kallum fixes the MCU, and I'm going to systematically go through every MCU movie and fix them all.
When do you?
That should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I gotta say.
Yeah. What else is good about this movie? Vision and Scarlet Witch's greatest romance in history.
Well,
Okay, that's something I don't understand. The fact that Vision comes out and he looks human. How is he doing that?
Because he can.
With the power of the
Mind
Mind
Stone.
Power of the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
Because the Infinity Gems can do whatever the movie wants them to do. What has the Mind Stone done in the Marvel movies so far? It's created Vision. It's turned people into mutants.
Yeah,
and
true.
it
I was about to say
it
that.
shot lasers. What's the Power Stone done? It's blown up stuff and shot lasers. What's the Reality Stone done? It shot lasers. Do you know what else all the other Infinity Gems do? They shoot lasers.
The Space Stone has not shot lasers.
Yeah, it has.
The Soul Stone?
has not done anything.
That's
Done
true.
anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Soul Stone came out of nowhere
And then
Aye.
did nothing.
and then did nothing. Like,
I think that was the stone they made the biggest deal out of in this film.
and it doesn't. Do
And it
anything.
does absolutely.
It's like
Actually,
the Reality
nothing.
Stone. Like,
The one
well,
thing-
you
the
don't
one thing
need
I was
anything
annoyed
else.
by-
You've already
right.
won.
See,
Yeah.
the one thing that I was annoyed
That's what
by
we
was the
needed,
fact
isn't
that the Soul Stone, they made such a big deal out of it. I was expecting it to be the stone that went there. 'Cause that was the biggest one.
And it was the Mind Stone that went in the middle.
Yeah, the Mind Stone got bigger because in the other films it's this big, and then it goes,
Oh, yeah.
I've got to put it in the slot. I've run out of slots for the right size. Because I've always figured the big one would be the Reality Stone because they showed that as the Aether,
Yeah,
and it showed it as this misty.
It's usually one of the two yellow ones in the middle. Usually it's the Soul Stone that goes in the middle because he usually starts off with the Soul Stone because it's the easiest one to get because no one really wants to protect it because it doesn't really do anything.
Honestly, I thought Thanos was going to start with the Soul Stone.
It would be
He should have done it. It should have just been like, well, of course I already had one. Where do you think I heard about all these stones?
Apparently, that's where people think the next movie's going, where he'll have found out about the Infinity Stones off someone else, and then they're going to come and go, well, you know how he said it was a price? Here's the price. It's based on a Apocalypse storyline, which has a similar element where Apocalypse finds out about something, and then who is it that comes after him? The Celestials come after him and go, "Oi, time's up, son." But I don't think that's going to happen. People are like saying, "Oh, the Celestials will be in it." We haven't seen the Celestials since Guardians 1.
I thought Ego was a Celestial. Or was he Celestial-like?
No, he was a Celestial.
Yeah, he was.
They've really buggered the Celestials.
Even though he wasn't a Celestial in the comics.
Yeah.
Wasn't,
saying that.
Isn't Grandmaster supposed to be one?
Yes, but they've buggered that as well. That's what I'm saying.
The
They've
Grandmaster,
gone
the
so far
Collector.
in the other direction. And people are saying the Eternals are going to show up. They're not doing the Eternals. Not yet. People are like, oh, they might do it. Because people have heard they might do an
Thanos
Eternals
is one
show.
of them.
Oh, right.
Nope.
He is in the comics.
The Eternals is the Neil Gaiman comic. It's the one-off Neil Gaiman comic based on the Jack Kirby run back in the 60s.
Right.
Thanos used to be an Eternal back in the 60s, but now he's not. Thanos is just his own thing. They've kind of
Yeah, but in Thanos Rising, the comic book 5-part comic book series they did for Thanos Rising, which led up to Infinity, it did explain that he lived on Titan as a member of a race called the Eternals, but he was a deviant because he had the deviant gene.
That's the old Jack Kirby Eternals. The new Eternals, which is the Neil Gaiman stuff. If you haven't read Neil Gaiman's The Eternals, the best thing Marvel have produced in actual ages. It was years ago, but it was great. They are basically eternal god characters that were made by scientists who live on Earth, and if they die, they just regenerate, and they all lose their memories. It's a bit like it's in a way, it's a mix of American Gods and Hancock. That's a really bad way of describing it. But like, they all forget who they are when they wake up. So the film is the book is about this one guy who gets mixed in with a bunch of Eternals and finds out he's an Eternal. And he's like, oh, what? So that's the entire... Anyway, yeah. But the people are saying that they might come back. That's not going to happen. I don't know. I genuinely do not know where they're going with Avengers 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I will make one slight prediction, which you're probably not going to agree or even like. But Thanos is going to feel bad that he had Gamora killed. And there's going to be this massive final battle, and ultimately Thanos is not... He's going to defeat all the heroes, and then he's going to go, well, I feel really bad about doing this, and just reverse everything. They're not even going to beat him.
That's genuinely one of the two things I think might happen.
Yeah, like, he's like, I'm so sad about killing you. I'm like, dude,
He has the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah,
He's unstoppable. He's unbeatable. You cannot defeat him unless... Because after he clicks his finger and erases all Half-Life, the gauntlet is broken.
In pieces.
Not in pieces, it's just like really badly damaged.
It's like damage.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Was that because of what he did, or was that because Thor was trying to hit him?
I think it's because Thor hit him.
No, I think
that's
it was.
what the
I
weapon
think
was.
it was because
It was an infinity.
Right, he wiped out
hammer, basically.
half of life in the universe,
It was an axe.
which is something that is so incredibly monumental. It must have broken the gauntlet.
Not for the Infinity Gauntlet. It's
The
not.
Infinity Gauntlet! That's like making Sunday lunch.
That's a good point.
That can be quite difficult, though.
Sunday roast.
I find it quite entertaining that Thanos' solution to permanently saving the world from overpopulation
Universe.
is to one time wipe out half the population. Not control the birth rate, not make more resources,
He's not the smartest of
he's
guys.
not the smartest guy in the world.
Well, they don't call him the Mad Titan for nothing.
Yeah, but I think they should have made a bigger deal about him being insane, and then it would have made more sense.
Yeah.
But they
Just turn him
didn't.
into Hannibal Lecter.
They made him like this supervillain going, I've got a plan. I've got a plan it'll save everybody. But it was just sort of him going like, yeah, but if this time you've been sat in that chair, if you've been thinking about this plan.
That's another thing about it. Is like, I've been planning this for ages. I'm going to take all 6 stones in the space of 2 hours.
And let's be honest,
It's like, why didn't you do this before? Why is it taking you so long?
Well, that's the thing. He had minions to do it for him.
Is what he was waiting for.
He had minions to do it for him, so he was thinking.
He had minions in this
I'm
film
just
to
gonna
do
have
half
these guys
of it
do it
for
for
him.
me.
And he had a different race of aliens this time.
oh,
Well, because the Chitauri went, look, we would go back to Earth for you,
We got
We
annihilated.
just don't want to.
Oh, the T'Challa were in the flashbacks, weren't
Yeah,
they?
but
In the
Yeah,
flashbacks,
they
yeah.
were.
They were the ones who were used on Gamora's homeworld.
I love the whole idea that in the original Avengers movie, at the end they go to attack Earth would be to court death, and then Thanos turns around and goes, "That's what I'm trying to do." And it's like, oh, they're doing that storyline. Only
Nope.
for films later. No. That's too interesting, that is. What are you talking about?
Did somebody say death?
Yeah.
He showed up in the post-credits for Avengers. He showed up in one scene in Guardians of the Galaxy. Showed up in the post-credits for Age of Ultron. Good God. Do you really think it would take him that long to figure that out?
Yeah.
Maybe he just decided.
Also, they've been cock teasing
No,
us
the death.
about the So, if you don't know, the writers, directors of Infinity War have been saying the title of Avengers 4 is going to shock audience. It's going to break audiences. It's going to...
They have a thing, and they were like, yeah, well, what happened last time was when we revealed the title for Age of Ultron, no one was focusing on the films we were releasing then. And then they went, yeah, so we're not going to do that this time. But now we've not told anyone the title.
And now they're cock teasing us. But I know comic book storylines.
Avengers 4,
I have
the
gone
cash
through,
grab.
I've gone through every possible
That's what
thing
it
and
is.
gone, none of these are spoilers, because there is no event that fits, because they've used the wrong title. So Infinity War is nothing to do with Thanos in the comics.
They aren't
It wasn't
great
even
at
called
their
Infinity
titles.
War in the comics. It was called Infinity Gauntlet.
That's what I'm saying. Infinity War is a completely different arc. It's favorite. I love Infinity War as an arc. I really like Infinity War as an arc. It's just a shame that this movie is not Infinity War. It's Infinity Gauntlet. And I haven't read Infinity Gauntlet because I don't like Thanos.
Technically, it ain't exactly Infinity Gauntlet because Spider-Man is still well, technically, while all the others
It's not
are being
anything.
kicked
I mean-
around, Spider-Man is technically still in the fight.
The MCU is not an adaptation of comic books.
Okay.
Which is why they suck.
It's not. It's not them going. We are going to take this storyline and put it on the screen. They
Yeah.
go. We're going to take a little bit from that one,
Yeah.
and we're going to take a little bit from that one, and
And
I'm going to
yeah,
make
like
up some of my own stuff.
Age of Ultron, which wasn't an age. Civil War, which was not a civil war. It
No,
was
they're
like a
not. They're
civil
not
skirmish.
the best with titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were only using those titles so that people would go, Age of Ultron. I loved Age of Ultron in the comics. Oh, I've
No
got to
one
watch
likes
this.
Age of Ultron in the comics.
Well, Age of Ultron was brilliant.
It's terrible.
Your face is terrible.
Are you talking about the recent Age of Ultron arc?
Yeah,
Nah.
it was good.
You started reading comics too late. You're corrupted by the current Marvel run of comics.
I didn't read
gotta
comics
say-
too late.
Yeah, you did.
I will be honest, the comic book version of Civil War was better.
I disagree. They're both terrible.
Seriously?
Yeah, I hate Civil War in the comics.
Yeah, there was.
Wasn't there 2 Civil Wars in the comics?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was 2.
I'm
Civil War
talking about
2.
the original one.
They-
It's awful.
Yeah, but right, the new one, the second Civil War, was about they had this person who could predict who. It was Minority Report, okay? It was Minority Report. They
Not
had
only was it
someone who-
Minority Report, it was also they'd just done the same arc like a year ago in the X-Men, where there was one mutant who could bring back the other mutants, and they were like, we're just going to pretend that never happened and steal the exact same
Yeah,
plot line.
because
God's sake.
there was it was the whole thing of okay, we know someone's going to commit this crime. Should we persecute them before they commit the crime? Or
Wasn't
we-
that the plot to the second Captain America as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually was.
Except it was Hydra and they were evil.
Yeah.
I really like Captain America 2, but that reveal that half of Shield is Hydra is one of the worst ideas because
They did it better in Agents of Shield.
Hydra,
But
we
it just
infiltrate your
ruined
organization
everything I like about
for
Shield.
50 years.
It's like, that's my problem with these movies. They do everything too quickly. So all these really nice elements that I like from the comic books that they've brought over, I'm like, I can't wait to. Oh my God, for God's sake! They killed the Warriors free. They destroyed Shield. What else are they gonna do? Are they gonna? I don't know.
They're making a Lady Sif movie.
I'd watch that.
Are
Really?
they?
No, they're not.
I'd watch
They-
that. I'd like that. I like that because I like Asgardian characters. Anyway, I think we should probably wrap up now.
Before we go too far.
Yeah, we've gone.
Yeah, so join us next time for the Shit on MCU podcast.
No, that's not what we're doing next time.
No,
We're doing.
this is the shit. Callum shits on the MCU podcast.
Oh, and the swearing's coming out.
But what we've discussed is this film is entertaining, if not flawed.
Yes.
Deeply flawed.
There was
Too
some
many characters, which
really,
is why they killed
really
off most of the
cool scenes, and some of the introductions
at the
were
end.
cool. Like you like looking at characters meeting each other. It's just everything comes back to it. The film was too early.
Yeah, agreed.
It was premature.
They could have set up a little bit more, but not 5 years.
There's only so many ways they could have done it, though. And
You know who they should have put in charge of it?
Oh.
Can we wrap up
I was
now?
about to
yes,
say,
we are going to wrap up.
never mind.
Thank you very much, guys, for coming on.
No worries.
Let's do it again.
We'll
future.
we'll give you a performance review. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Hayden. Thank you, Lee in the box. And we'll see you next time for an episode that may or may not be good. We're talking to that camera, and it's that camera
Yeah,
that's
it's
on.
right there.
Goodbye.
Bye.